Kayak. Tell you about a product that I kind of stumbled on that I think is going to be really great and have a lot of applications for kayak fishing. It's the X Pwr waterproof camera case for a GoPro made by 3BR Power Sports. The case was originally designed, the guys are motorcycle guys, and they're really thinking more along the lines of vehicles, motorcycles, ATVs, cars, anything that had a 12-volt power source. Well, mainly because they didn't realize that a lot of us kayakers all have a 12-volt power source. A lot of us carry batteries already to recharge our phones, power our depth finders, Bluetooth radios, different things along those lines. So we already have that 12-volt power source, so they wasn't thinking that. I saw this and said it's going to be great for us where we can power our GoPros all day long, don't have to worry about changing batteries while out on the water and all the hassle of bringing extra batteries, getting them wet, keeping them dry, all those problems. So the X Pwr case fits a Hero 3, Hero 4 GoPro. Looks a lot like your normal GoPro case. It comes standard with one of the little helmet type clips on the bottom, so depending on what kind of mount you're using to mount your camera, you may be able to use that. I've got a panfish pole from Yak Attack which uses a ram mount, so I had to buy one of the little balls, goes right on the bottom, little ram ball, and $5 for that. So the case, pretty similar to the GoPro. Open it up, it's got a waterproof gasket. What you do is you take your charging port cover off of your GoPro, camera goes in, locks watertight just like a regular GoPro case. There's a little cover on this side for a port, take that off. It's got a little extended port on the side where the USB cable is going to go in. You run one end from there, the other end to your USB tap, which I'm going to show you in a little bit, and you've got 12-volt power for your GoPro all day long, if not more. You'll run out of cord before you run out of battery with pretty much any standard battery source that you're using. So I think it's a great product, easy to install on any kayak. It makes no difference what kind of setup you use for your pole or your battery, as long as you're using a 12-volt power source. Once you put the USB tap in your boat, you're good to go. And we're going to go ahead and show you how I did it on my Hobie Outback. Okay, once again, this is going to be the installation for the 3BR Power Sports X Pwr external camera case for a GoPro camera. We showed you the case up close. We got it here. I've got my camera mounted in. A couple other components. This is the power cord that you can get for the case. Well, for the tap. It's a USB tap that you're going to put on your boat. It's going to be a normal USB on this end. You can use it for anything you use USB power for. You want to take your laptop, your iPad, your phone, music, whatever you want. You'll have a nice little tap, waterproof, covered USB tap on your boat to power any of those devices, and especially the X Pwr case for your GoPro. This is the tap I'm going to use. It's called a panel tap. It's got a 7/8. Called a panel tap. It's got a 7/8 round hub on it with a screw tight fitting on the back, rubber case, and a rubber cap to cover the USB port. What you got to do is just find on your boat best place to put it out of the way where your cable's not going to get knocked, it's not going to be subject, sitting underwater, anything like that, and just get it out the way. I've already drilled mine. I'm going to show you where I put it, but I looked around, figured out from where my camera sits, where my seat is, I'll be able to easily get to this, plug it in, plug it out, whatever I need to do. If I want to change and charge my phone during the day, I have easy access to the panel tap. The cable that comes with the panel tap is the power cord. It comes with a waterproof connection on one end that's separate here, so you can get that run through your boat, get it by your hole and everything. It's a lot easier to run this single thing without everything attached to it or running from the fuse end. But it's pretty long, should be able to go front or back of the boat, whatever direction you decide to do. This end's got a waterproof fuse holder and your red and black for your power, so you just need to tap that into your battery, or as I'm going to do, I've already got a line run to power my depth finder. I'll be able to tap into that, and I'll have a separate fuse for the depth finder and the cable for the USB tap. But the tap's here, 7/8 inch hole. So the only thing you got to do is drill that. I used a nice little 7/8 inch shallow cut hole saw, made a nice clean cut, one cut straight through. The tap will go right in. So I'm going to show you. The tap will go right in. So I'm going to show you where I put it. And main thing is, check your inside, make sure you got enough clearance in the back for your wires, make sure you don't have any rudder cables, steering cables, anything like that. There are some on this side of the Outback, but I think they're sufficiently out of the way in operation where they won't touch it. But I drilled my hole right here next to the seat. I've got the panel tap with the screw head. You know, if you want a little extra protection, you can go ahead and put some goop, any type of marine sealant around the base of this when you put it in. And it's not really necessary because it has a rubber gasket on it already. But basically you're going to put that in. It's going to go through, go around and screw it in from the other side. Pretty straightforward. Tighten it up by hand, it'll get nice and tight, and especially if you put any type of sealant on it. I'm not going to go in there and do that right now, but I have easy access through my hatch right here to get to the back of this and get it screwed in. Again, once it's in, it's got a rubber cap that stays on, so when it's not in use, you can cover the USB on that. When you use your USB cable, and the power case comes with an 18-inch USB cable, may work out for some of your applications. For me, my camera's mounted back here and high on a pole, so they have various lengths of cables that you can buy as an accessory. This one's 66 inches long, may actually be a little long for what I need, but it'll definitely reach and go up my... Once you plug in on this end, you've got a covered connection here that seals out the water on that end. What I'm going to do, I decided to run mine. It's going to run back here under my seat, out of the way, and then up my camera pole. And I'm going to run some tie wraps and stuff on the camera pole after I do it. But basically it's going to run back here and do whatever you want to do out of the way. You see it's got plenty enough to reach the top of the camera pole. Once my camera's on, it's as simple as removing this cap, run the plugged end up to the top, plug it right onto the side of the GoPro. It's got a power cap, all waterproof, splash proof on there. Again, I'm going to put some tie wraps on here. Once that's up, I'm going to have access to my camera, my remotes. You know, the thing about this is, with all the accessories for the GoPros, the Bluetooth, the apps, your remote, all those things drain battery. So a lot of times you don't want to leave your camera on, and what happens? You miss the shot you need. This way, I launch, turn that camera on, it can stay on all day. I'm going to have my remote. It's going to be running, no worries about it running out of power. When I need to turn it on, one button click, it's firing video or photographs, whatever I have it set for. But you know, so I got access to my camera, I can turn it, angle it. You know, you got all your normal angles with your camera pole on here. But the cable's going to stay out of the way and it's going to power it without any problems. If by some chance you don't want to put the built-in tap on here, this is the panel tap. They also make a similar one, basically the same thing, comes with the fuse and all. This one's called a tap light. Used a lot on motorcycles and stuff. You can see it has a flexible base around here with some adhesive. You can put it on there, same thing, it's just a little bit bigger, and a square tap, same cover, same fuse setup and everything, but depending on, you know, what works best for your application, you can use one of these instead, and it's basically an external mount. Find a place on your kayak where you think it'll work out and you use that, and again, that one's called the tap light. Okay, back here is where I keep my battery. A lot of guys, you know, keep middle hatch, front hatch, whatever. Not a problem. Wherever you keep it, the cable's going to be long enough to reach forward or back. But basically what I've got back here, got a 12 volt, 12 amp lithium ion battery. Very light. Made a little flange out of a piece of cutting board. Just tie wrapped it on. Sits back in here. Unused hatch out of the way. Stays above any water and stuff. Use it to power the depth finder, and now I'm going to be able to use it to also power my camera at the same time. The tail end of the USB cables for the X Pwr comes with some ring ends on. You may have to cut them off to splice them in, which I'm going to have to do, but also with a nice waterproof fuse holder. I already have my harness back here that I use for the depth finder with a waterproof plug. I'm just going to go ahead and splice these two in. That way my depth finder and the camera will both be on separate lines with separate fuses, but one connection to my battery and I'll be ready to go. So, you know, with this battery I'll be able to power both units all day, maybe even a couple days without charging. One thing they do recommend, I know most people do not leave their batteries in and hooked up. The USB tap, it's going to have a very small current drain. You know, over a week or two it could drain the battery if you're not using it. You know, it's not like a vehicle where you're going to be starting and running and recharging. So just make sure you either take your battery out or disconnect it if you're not going to be using the kayak for a long time. And again, most of us do that anyway. So once again, this was the X Pwr external power case for a GoPro camera by 3BR Power Sports. I think it's a great product, easy to install, all quality components, lots of different accessories and ways to customize it to fit your particular needs with lengths of cables, different caps, different taps, whatever. And again, when you're not using that, you're gonna have a nice USB waterproof power tap on your kayak, again, for your phone charging, playing, if you want to work on your iPad while you're in the kayak, whatever you need to do. But it'll be there out of the way. Again, not submersible, but certainly rated for any kind of wash down, rain, splash, anything like that. As long as you keep the caps covered, you have no issues with that. They're good quality rubber on top of the caps. And if you want to check them out, go to 3brpowersports.com and check out, they've got all the listing of their products and all the different things and some good explanations. And each product comes with, you know, a good detailed instruction sheet within the bag, everything you need, all the way down to the silicone tape or the little tie wraps to wrap your cables down. So it's a really neat product, and I think it's going to work out good for kayakers, and I can't wait to get mine on the water this weekend taking some pictures all day.